Good evening, everyone. I'm Hayden Gray, host of On the Right Track. Welcome to episode 2. Hope you were able to enjoy some of that sunshine that we had today. We've got a fun episode planned for you this evening, recapping last week's Fredericktown Invitational, taking a look at this week's top PRs and revealing last week's winner, a conversation with Lucas legend Shelby Grover, and a preview of tomorrow's Kiwanis Invitational hosted by Galion High School. Before we get into tonight's conversation, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Spherion Mid Ohio, staffing and recruiting specialists servicing 9 counties throughout Mid Ohio. Spherion Mid Ohio offers professional jobs for amateur sports fans and everyone in between. Visit the link below to see the jobs they are currently hiring for, learn about the perks of using a staffing agency, or to fill your current staffing needs. As opposed to today's sunshine, spring sports athletes, coaches, and parents know that rain comes with the territory. That was certainly the case this past Friday in Fredericktown as several area teams gathered for the Fredericktown Invite. The rain did force a few schools to shy away though, as Philo, Highland, and Clear Fork decided not to compete. However, the show still went on with several noteworthy performances. The top 3 teams for the overall meet on the girls' side, Mount Vernon took home the victory, scoring 149 total points. Columbus Academy with 134.5. and Fredericktown took 3rd place in their home meet with 124. On the boys' side, Mount Vernon also was victorious with a landslide victory, posting 203 points. Columbus Academy came in second with 90.5, and Fredericktown scored 82 points. Some notable individual performances. On the boys' side, Nathan Strebe set 2 PRs and 2 meet records. His first meet record was set in the 1600 with a time of 4 minutes, 23 seconds. He broke the former record held by Crestview's Jeff Gray with a time of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Strebe also set a PR in the 800 meter with a time of 1:54, the new meet record, and that was formerly held by Mr. Strebe himself from last season with a time of 1:55. So my overall takeaway from the Fredericktown Invitational was that Mount Vernon is a really well-composed team on both the boys' side and the girls' side. They've got a lot of speed and they do well in the distance events as well, which is a great mixture to have as a track team. They also compete very well in those field events, placing in just about every single one in the top 3. So the message was clear that despite there being some big names from the Northern Columbus area, Mount Vernon sent a message. That message was delivered that they're not afraid of the competition and they're ready to send a sting. Well, I was certainly blown away by the sheer amount of submissions that we received for the first edition of Making Strides, the top PRs around the area, and I was equally amazed by the amount of votes that we received from you, the fans. Took a while to count, but at the end of the night, we finally had a winner declared last night. So your Week 1, Episode 1 winner of the Making Strides top PR segment is Lexi Plott out of Cary High School. She received 38% of the near 300 votes that totally came in across all social platforms. Lexi Plott set a new best in the high jump, measuring in at 5'7" and 1/4 inches. So congratulations to Lexi. You got a big thanks to Cary Nation, who always shows out strong, got their votes in, and represented you well. So your Week 1 winner was Lexi Plott. So Lexi Plott was our first winner, but now let's move on to this week's top 5 nominees for our Making Strides top PRs. Coming in at nominee number 1 is Nathan Strebe, a senior from East Knox. He has a PR in the 1600 meter and 800 meter. with a time of 4:23.2 in the mile and 1:54.4 in the 800 meter. Both of those set at last Friday's Fredericktown Invitational. Nominee number 2 is Aiden McManus from Fredericktown. The sophomore has set PRs in the 2 mile, 1 mile, and 800 meter this year. His 2 mile time is 10:48, a 4:58 mile time, and a PR of 2:08 in the 800 meter. Aiden McManus out of Fredericktown. Nominee number 3 is a familiar name on the OH report, and it's Mr. Trevor Vogt from Colonel Crawford. The junior has a new PR in the long jump and 110 meter hurdle. His new long jump PR is 21 feet 1.5 inches, and his new best in the 110 meter hurdles is a time of 15 seconds, 0.25. Nominee number 4 is Adrienne Wirtz out of Clear Fork. The senior has been daunted by a PR setback in her sophomore year of 5 foot, and now as a senior has set a new best at 5 foot and 3 inches. Adrienne Wirtz out of Clear Fork. Coming in at nominee number 5 and rounding off our list is Tyler Sauter out of Ashland. The sophomore has set a new PR in the mile. His previous 4:39, he has shaved 11 seconds off of that for a new PR of 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Those are your top 5 making strides PRs for this week on episode 2. Make sure to get your votes in now on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Those votes will close next week on Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Time now to take a pause, and we're going to hear a word from our exclusive show sponsor, Spherion Mid Ohio. When we come back, I had a conversation with Lucas legend Shelby Grover. Don't go anywhere because it's a conversation you won't want to miss.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid-Ohio job market, and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
Looking for your baseball or softball fix? Well, you've come to the right place. Join me every Wednesday night during the regular season for the best plays, conference updates, schedules, and so much more on the Roundup with me, Big League.
Well, welcome back to On the Right Track, presented exclusively by Spherion Mid Ohio. Now it's time to visit an athlete who's making an impact on not just their team, but making marks in the history books as well. I had a chance to sit down with Lucas senior Shelby Grover to discuss several storied moments from her senior season thus far. Here is how our conversation went.
All right, well, we're down here in not so sunny Lucas, Ohio, but I'm out here with Shelby Grover of the Lucas Cubs. Shelby, first I want to talk to you a little bit about your experience at Virginia Beach at the Adidas Nationals and becoming an All-American in the pentathlon. Tell me a little bit about that experience, what it was like for you.
Going in, I was really nervous. It was my first ever pentathlon, and I didn't really know how it was going to go or what to expect, but as soon as I got there, my nerves kind of calmed down. I met like all types of people from around the country, and it was just really amazing to see them. It started off with 60 hurdles, and then like in pentathlon, they're not right next to you in the hurdles. There was like a lane in between. So it's kind of odd just seeing that and running without someone right next to you. And then we went to high jump and then shot put, long jump, and then the 800 was my like event that I knew I had to like really put out for. And I ended up PRing by like 20 seconds, so it came out like really good. I came in 8th and I finished 3rd to finish with All-American honors, so it was like just a really great blessing experience to have.
As you mentioned, you know, now you get to add All-American to your name. You're an All-Ohioan in 3 sports, basketball, volleyball, and track. What kind of separates track and field for you as kind of like your first love?
Well, I think I fell in love in middle school. I found out that I could really excel at the hurdles. I was like top in the state in middle school, so then I kind of knew like going into my high school career that I wanted to set standards even higher for high school, and kind of just like being on your, it's kind of more of an individual sports, but you also have like teammates to cheer you on, being relay, so that kind of just sticks out most. It's an individual but also a team sport, so you can excel in both sides.
Now, obviously, you're going to go on to Division I to compete in track and field. So talk to me a little bit about the recruiting process, what it was like to visit some other schools, and then ultimately what led to your decision to go to Kent State.
Well, I started out my high school career like wanting to go for volleyball. That was my intent, to go for volleyball. But I think after my sophomore year when I made it to state, I had a bunch of coaches reach out to me, and then that's when I decided that I'm not going to go for volleyball. I was going to go for track. And then at the state meet, I talked to a bunch of Division I schools, and I'm like, wow, this is like really, I can actually go Division I. I didn't really know what division I was going to go for. And then in the summer, I had some Big Ten schools, Power 5 schools reach out to me, and my final two were Penn State and Kent State. And I'm just like really glad that I chose Kent State. It's a lot closer to my family. I really fell in love with the coach there. I'm just really excited to just do track and excel in that way.
Yeah, well, obviously we know that you're going to go on to do great things, but until you get to the college level, you still got some time here in your senior season. So what are your goals the rest of the senior year? Obviously, you're a notable name from state meets in the past, but before we even get to the state level, what are your goals to try and get back down to Ohio State this year to compete? But what are you trying to do before then in the meets that you have left at the conference level and so forth?
I still have some records that I'm really hoping to achieve. Like I want the high jump record, which is 5.5, and then I want to re-break my own records from last year, kind of just like pushing myself from last year. And then my goal has always been to get to state, and then once I get to state, be in the moment and excel in that way.
Obviously, you're no stranger to interviews and the whole process, but you know, being at this stage in your career now, if you could tell anyone, maybe younger runners that are aspiring to compete at any level, you know, young all the way up, what kind of advice would you give to those? And it could be applicable to any of your sports, but what advice do you give to younger athletes, you know, to try and find success and have fun with the sport?
I would definitely say don't stress the little stuff. Like, you're gonna have highs and lows in each sport, each season. So honestly, just if you have one bad meet or game, it's not going to define your career. Just the way you bounce back with it is how it's going to define you.
Well, thank you. Obviously, this is one of the most unique interviews I think we've probably both ever done, but that's just that Lucas toughness coming through. So, Shelby, we would like to say thank you. Thanks for taking a few moments to talk with us, and we look forward to everything else coming your way.
Thank you for coming out.
All right, thank you.
Well, it was great to catch up with Shelby despite the raining conditions, but now we're going to shift back to a sunnier state of mind so you can mark your calendars, get set, and go. Here's everything you need to know about tomorrow's Galion Kiwanis Invitational. The meet takes place tomorrow, Friday, May 5th. Running events start at 5:15 p.m. Field events start earlier at 3:30 p.m. The teams competing are Ashland, Avon, Colonel Crawford, Columbia, Galion, Lexington, Liberty Benton, possibly Lucas, Mansfield Senior, Marion Harding, Ontario, Ottawa Glandorf, Shelby, and West Holmes. Some things to note for this particular invite: the Lexington girls team is coming off a big win at the Marion Night Invitational on April 28th, which marked their third invite title in the last 3 weeks. Another notable name is Ava Bowman from Shelby and Kayla Gonzalez, fresh off her Akron commitment. The boys and girls teams for the Whippets and relay teams are as strong as ever. So those are just a few of the notable teams and athletes that'll be in competition tomorrow in Galion. I will also be there as well, taking in some of the area's best in competitors. So if you see me out there with my camera, come over, say hello. Would love to talk some track and field with you. That concludes episode 2 of On the Right Track with me, Hayden Gray. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to Spherion Mid Ohio for being our show's exclusive sponsor. Check out the link below and in the description to visit their website. We deeply appreciate their support of local high school athletics. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week on episode 3 of On the Right Track.